We are live.
Live, so everything is believable here on out. Okay, we're going to start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance. Flag.
United States of America. To the republic which is stands one nation
under God, indivisible, with liberty and
indivisible,
justice for all.
Mr. Stokes, did you just join us?
Indeed, it did.
Okay, roll call, please.
Corbin? Lauren Corbin?
He's muted.
He's got to unmute. Lauren?
Everybody unmute.
Yeah, everybody's got to unmute for right now. There he is. There he is. Hey, Lupan.
Zupan.
Muted.
Lupan. Bill. Bill.
I saw him earlier.
He's
there,
right
he's
there.
muted.
There you go. You're still muted, Bill.
Fred Lauren?
Yes, here.
Moses?
Yes, here.
Jones?
Here.
Walbrad?
Here.
Worth?
Here.
Goldstein?
Jim Goldstein.
Goldstein?
here.
Okay, he's
Steve
there.
Veronica?
Very well.
I'm here. Yeah.
Morelli? Bono?
Here.
Cunningham? Jim Cunningham?
On the line.
Aki is also online, but he's muted.
Cunningham.
Yeah, he's not. He's not muted by me.
Okay, go ahead.
He's on.
Yeah.
Stokes? Savansky?
Here.
Becker?
Aye.
Kavanaugh?
Here.
Roberts?
Here.
Maglioka?
Here.
Ostrander?
Here.
473 votes present.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meeting.
So moved.
Mr. Roberts, seconded by Mr. Moses. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, communication reports of committees.
I have reports. Houston County occupancy tax receipts expenditures for quarter of January 2020 through March 2020. And reports of capital projects prepared by Finance Director Lou Ann Randall. March report is $2,165,427.34. April is $1,402,668.32, and May is $1,461.55.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask Eric to give us a little update before we get started, and then I'll give an update on what's going on at our non-lethal control boards. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'll just start with going over some general numbers. As of today, we've tested over 6,093 individuals.
We can't hear him, Mark.
I can't hear Mark.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Everybody-
All right, I'll start again. I'll just go over and start with the numbers. As of today, we've tested a total of 6,093 individuals. Of those tests, 5,737 were negative. 357 individuals were positive. We currently have only 8 active cases in Madison County. We've had 333 people who have recovered. We've had 16 deaths so far. And there's currently 45 people in active quarantine. So in terms of general active cases, we're looking pretty good. We're averaging about 1 to 2 cases a day, maybe a little less than 2 cases a day. We'll continue moving forward with the reopening. We're not seeing the reopenings. We're 3 weeks out from phase 1 reopening. We're 2 weeks out from Memorial Day weekend and a little over a week from phase 2. And so far, everything looks good in terms of numbers. We're not seeing an uptick anywhere. We're still progressing and moving forward with the housing units at the Green Empire Farms, or the greenhouse, I should say. And at this point, we have no new cases at the grant well. So right now, things are looking good as we're moving forward.
Hey, does anybody have any questions for Eric?
Yeah,
When,
Eric,
when does phase 3 start? Just remind for everybody.
Here's what we were told on the control board. Okay, phase 3 is supposed to start on Friday. That's when it's over. And then the governor has to have his 2 experts look at everything, and they'll let us know when it's going to open. So we on the control board have been emphasizing the fact through Ryan McMahon, who is our spokesperson for the 5-county control board. He's very articulate at letting them know that, hey, that we really need to be open. This is our people. We should scrap all the states. I got to been in Albany this week out the guidance. We figured that Thursday they would put out the guidance for Friday and we'd have the same thing that we had 2 weeks ago, but they've got guidance out on phase 3 today. So, which is a good thing. We've had some calls from restaurants on where they stand. And Eric, you got anything you want to add to that at all? No. Pretty clear. Okay, and this is some of what we've brought up on the control rooms with some of the unrest that we've had around our country. This is a quote: "As public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID-19 transmission. This should not be confused with a permissive stance on all gatherings, particularly protests against stay-at-home orders," which is totally ridiculous. That's the do as I say, not as I do. We've been trying to make that clear to the folks in Albany. I think they finally are starting to get it and come around. So does anybody have any questions on the control boards or the control room where we're at as the region here in Central New York?
John, I just had a question about the deaths. How many of the deaths have been nursing home related? Because I noticed there was another death and it didn't appear to be nursing home related. Or are there other nursing homes where there may be fatalities?
We've had 10 from the nursing homes. 10 are associated with nursing homes, Jim.
Okay.
In all one facility.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question. Gatherings of more than 10 people, when will that change?
That's changing now with phase 3. That's changing now with phase 3. It's up to 150, isn't it?
Only for graduation.
Yeah, so there, hey, maybe you should be on the phone call at 2 o'clock with Dan. He's getting that right now. So I assumed that it was 150, but Mark's telling me that it's only 10. And it's 150 for graduation. So it must be, if you're at anything other than a graduation, you're more susceptible. So,
Or if you're 11th person.
or if you're 11th person, correct. So, yeah. Sorry. You know what, you guys, you got to read. You got to just read it for what it is and don't ask too many questions. That's what we're finding is the most effective for everything that's going on right now.
So, yes, so John, if we go to 50% capacity at restaurants and so on under phase 3, which is the plan, then I would say that number is going to have to increase. I mean, if you have a restaurant that holds 200 and you can have 100 in there, obviously that number of 10 or less is not going to be the same.
Right.
You can't have more than 10 at your table.
Can't have
Right.
more at your table. Okay, any other questions? Okay, We'll move on to resolutions then. What's the public hearing is for? Let's do a couple and then we'll do the local law. We gotta wait for 2:15. All right, we're gonna take 1 minute and we're gonna wait till 2:15 for our public hearing on, the occupancy tax.
Cindy, we're not able to hear you very well. I don't know why.
You gotta talk into the,
Down here, put this between you two, because I'm not gonna talk much, so.
well, you can hear me because I'm talking in the mic.
Yeah, because you're loud. Up down so you see they can hear you.
Can you hear me okay now?
Much
Yeah.
better.
That's great. See, don't believe everything you see on the internet either.
When we open the public hearing, they're gonna ask Christine if there's
For
any
comments, yes.
emails, comments.
Okay, I need a motion to open the public hearing. Mr.
Motion.
Torelli has made the motion to open the public hearing on the occupancy tax. Do I have a second?
Like a second.
Second by Ms. Kavanaugh. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, the public hearing is open for a local law adopting the Madison County occupancy tax law and rescinding any previous hotel and motel occupancy tax, local laws and amendments in Madison County. So I local law number 4 for year 2020. Do I have any comments? Okay, Christine has received no public comments. So maybe we can give it a little bit here. See nothing? Okay, seeing or hearing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing. Motion by Mr. Moses, second
Second.
by Mrs. Dorelli. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried. Okay, next we'll do our resolution.
Okay, we have resolutions for our preferred agenda. Resolution 1, abolishing 1 full-time weigh station operator position and creating 2 part-time weigh station operations. Resolution 2, creating a temporary coronavirus policy, pay leave and remote work.
Everybody's got a mute. Get the backbeat.
Resolution 3, authorizing agreement with CELCA First Light. Resolution 4, authorizing towns, village, and the city municipal grants and modifying the 2020 adopted budget. Resolution 5, authorizing special district grants and modifying the 2020 adopted county budget. Resolution 6, approving mortgage tax report. Resolution 7, approving the consent order and judgment for refund of real property taxes in accordance to real property tax law. Now, resolution 8, 9, and 10, we are pulling at this time. So remove those from your pack. And resolution number 11, authorizing agreements with City BOCES and audiology for preschool program. Number 12, extending contracts for transportation services for handicapped children. Number 13, adopting local law 4 for the year 2020 occupancy tax law. Number 14, authorizing the modification of the 2020 adopted budget for aquatic vegetation. Number 15, authorizing the chairman to apply for a coronavirus emergency supplemental funding program. Number 16, authorizing the chairman to apply for New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services State Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Grant. Number 17, authorizing agreement with Stockbridge Valley Central School District. Number 18, authorizing the chairman to apply for a bulletproof vest partnership program. Number 19, authorizing agreement with Davis Elmer Fire Protection. Number 20, authorizing to extend an agreement with Myers and Associates. Number 21, authorizing agreement with the Chase Construction. 22, authorizing agreement with Bush Crane. 23, authorizing agreement with James Drummond. 24, authorizing a contract to accept alternate daily cover material. 25, authorizing agreement with Mid-Country Machinery. 26, authorizing agreement with Southworth Milton. 27, authorizing agreement with Five Star Equipment. Number 28, authorizing a solid waste disposal agreement with EE Roofing. And that will be all for our preferred agenda. And then we've got a couple of added resolutions.
Preferred
No, for
or
regular.
regular? Okay, so I need a motion for preferred agenda,
So move, Mr. Chairman.
moved by Mr. Goldstein. Is there a second? Second by
Second.
Mr. Cunningham. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Bono,
Yes.
Cunningham,
Yes.
Stokes is absent. Fancy,
Yes.
Becker,
Aye.
Kavanaugh,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Maglioka,
Aye.
Ostrander,
Aye.
Corbin,
Yes.
Zupan, Lawrence,
Yes.
Moses,
Yes.
Jones, Dave Jones,
Just a minute.
You're on. Now you're muted. Unmute, Dave. You gotta unmute, Dave.
All right,
There you are.
all right. Aye.
okay. Walrod,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Goldstein,
Yes.
Steve Veronica,
Aye.
Norelli. Aye. There's 1,473 ayes.
Carried. Evan, where's all the cats? I can't see good because you're small on the screen today.
What? The
All the
cat?
cats. Where are all the cats today?
He's sleeping next to me. I don't know if you can see him.
There he is. Yeah.
Oh, he-
Okay.
Okay.
My daughter's cat. She left him with me, so.
Nice. Okay, resolutions for regular agenda, resolution 29, authorizing the county to freeze future grant payments to various agencies due to financial impacts on the COVID-19 pandemic. This will be Yvonne Norelli, Chairwoman, Finance, Ways and Means.
Can I move this resolution for adoption?
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Jones. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Aye. Todd, don't you?
No, okay. Everybody, all in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Somebody said no.
No, no one said. All right. Carried.
Resolution number 30, added to our list, is calling on the state of New York to release enhanced federal Medicaid matching funds to counties and New York City. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Ostrander. Is there any discussion? This is the federal FMAP money. It's supposed to flow through the state to us. Any questions? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried.
And resolution number 31, authorize the chairman to enter an agreement with the Standard Security Life Insurance Company for fully insured disability administration services. Mary Kavanaugh, Chairwoman, Government Operations Committee.
Mr. Chairman, I move this resolution for adoption.
Resolution has been made. Do I have a second?
Second. Alex.
Mr. Stefanski, second by Mr. Stefanski. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Carried.
Public comment, public comment.
What? Public comment? I don't think we have any public comment, do we, Christine? Did anybody sign up? No one signed up for public comment. They did send, nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's
sent
email,
them.
it's email public comment for clarification.
Okay. You want to talk about?
Yes.
What do you guys think about, what does everyone think about, maybe for July, having half the board come in if you so desire in person, and then August have the opposite, half come in, and then hopefully by September, we'll be maybe back to normal. Does everybody want to try something like that, or do you like it like it is for right now? What do you want to do? I'm open for suggestions.
How about if we go over to the highway garage and then we can have everybody there, pull the trucks out, we got a lot of room.
That's fine with me.
Might be hot, but.
Well, we got to get back to normal. I mean, it is sort of a pain with these Zoom meetings, to be honest with you.
I kind of like them myself, but.
Well, and John, you might also want to mention that the MAC had its last meeting last night.
Yes, we had our last meeting as the MAC group last night, so the board will be fully engaged from here on out unless we have to re-engage the MAC and the JIT and everything else that we had going on.
You know, as much as I'd like to meet in the highway garage, I think that would create a lot of extra problems for technology, right?
Yeah. So here's what we're thinking, if we want to keep our 6 feet, you know, like the first meeting would be Lauren, Lawrence, Jones, Schwartz, Veronica, Bono, Mr. Stokes, Kavanaugh, and Maglioka, and then for August, we'd have the opposite come in. And everybody else would be able to zoom in.
What is just a quick question, the 6 foot law rule guidance, sorry, is sort of in contrast to the WHO, which says 3 feet.
Who cares what the WHO thinks?
What?
Who cares what the WHO thinks?
I like it because it says you can be closer.
No, that doesn't mean it's a good recommendation.
I don't care what they think either, but it sounds better to me. I can pick and choose my rules.
No, I prefer a rule that keeps us safer.
I know, okay.
It's 6 feet for county buildings. We don't want to go through the expense of, you know, putting up all these plexiglass dividers between everybody. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you want to come in and everybody wants to come in, you're going to have to wear your face masks. And they'll be able to be within 6 feet.
Yeah, the more people that came in at 50%, they'd have to.
Right.
Or we put part of them in large conference room and part of it's here.
Fit them all around here.
But you got to wire the whole, could be a camera in there.
Yeah.
We could try to come up with some ideas for July. We have a whole month to
Or
figure it
maybe
out.
just take a
Put them around the
consensus of
outside
the
edge and
ones
inside.
who don't want to come.
I bet you could.
Yeah, and then there's some that probably will not want to come, which I understand. So is this a discussion that you want us to keep discussing and put it out to you, or do you guys want to add some suggestions here?
John, why don't you play it by ear? Because obviously the next couple of weeks will give you information on which direction makes more sense anyway.
Okay.
And I think we should take a consensus first of who doesn't want to come. They feel more comfortable zooming in and then go from there.
Is there anybody on here who's more comfortable zooming in for, you know, the next 2 or 3 months? Just give me a hand wave and let me know.
I'm still seeing my immunologist and trying to get a read on something, so I'd like that, reserve that option, yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
Rocky, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I've been here for 3 months and I just, at my age, I don't think I want to get into a crowd of people or even anybody that might
All right, you
exposed,
guys
that's
gotta-
all. This
That's
is working fine for me right now.
Okay, you guys need to tell me this so I know, so we don't make plans on having everybody here. It's fine if you want to stay home. We'll plan on that. I want to do what you guys are comfortable with. Whoever's comfortable with what.
It all depends what happens by now and the next meeting, John, that I would make a decision. I just don't want to take a chance. Now, I've been here 3 months now, and I don't want to come out for a week or so, or 1 hour, 4 hours, whatever it is, and I just don't want to take that chance.
Okay, that's fine. So why don't we take 2 weeks? I'll tell you, we'll do that. We'll take 2 weeks.
Okay.
Mark and I and Cliff will discuss it and we'll come up with something. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
John, are the committees going back into session in person or are they gonna Zoom?
However you want to do it. If you guys want to Zoom, or if some people are more comfortable by Zooming, I think the chair of each committee should come in and have Mark set you up so you're here like in my seat in front of the committee. Do your committee meeting in here or by Zoom so you can see it on the screen here. And you heard Rocky, some people are going to be more comfortable coming in than others, and that's fine. So, but I think that the chairs should come in and at least run their meeting from here.
Why is that, John? Honestly, only because, I mean, a Zoom meeting is a Zoom meeting. Why do we have to come to Wansville? Just for me, for example, why would I come to Wansville if it could be set up?
If you've got people that come in, you probably should be here as the chair.
So, John, you're saying then if somebody, if say Mike, the A&O committee all wants to come in, I need to come, which I
Yeah,
understand.
you probably should as the chair.
Yep. Okay, no, that's fine, but the other thing, like I told Mark one day, John, with this, doing this, the county's gonna be kind of, well, you know better than all of us, that strapped for money, you aren't paying mileage this way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You also have to worry about the fact that if you have all the department heads in the room with you and all the committee members, that you were able to socially distance as well. So it might be worth it to have the department heads on Zoom.
All right. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna Zoom your meetings for the next couple months, so that ends that discussion. So, Zoom in your committee meetings, meet as committees, but Zoom through Zoom. Okay?
Resolutions are, as we discussed, resolutions are all flowing through committees now, so.
No more back.
Yeah.
Okay, good?
And just one more thing on the committees with the resolutions, we waived rules 24 and 24A, so the time limits on when resolutions are presented to the committees has been waived. And I know, Mark, you were working on making sure they get there timely, but don't tie the hands of the department heads.
Yeah, kind of, we're almost like an annual session right now still, which, you guys, the board, obviously could end that, but I would suggest based on the fact that we're gonna be doing Zoom meetings and, we have staff here, we have some flexibility, because if not, like today, the resolutions that we had, you have to get A&O together and you have to waive the rules for each meeting. So it's up to you guys as a board, but I would suggest staying in annual session mode for the time being, because, when we're in annual session, the resolutions still typically look for committees anyhow, but that's your decision. It's just a recommendation to not unwaive those now, but you guys can decide how you want to do that. But right now, we're kind of like in annual session mode.
Is everybody fine with staying that way?
I think we need to for now, John.
Okay.
I think we get a better idea on things.
Yep.
Dan is going to extend the
More
state.
flexibility with your committees, as far as meeting and, but I'm going to tell the department heads, resolutions need to go through the committees, and only if there's an urgent situation, does a resolution go to the board after, and they have to get committee approval. So if you say buildings and grounds met, and John Reagan a week later has another resolution, he needs to pull that committee before, we just don't have to do a formal, waiving the rules and stuff, but the committees still need to approve the resolution via poll. And get the same.
So, Tina, technically, at this point, did we waive those rules during we have, and we just haven't unwaived them, so they're ongoing at this point.
They're ongoing. The resolution was for, remaining of the COVID emergency, and Dan is going to re-up the declaration of emergency. So we are still in a state of
I
emergency.
signed all the paperwork today.
And we want to
Yeah,
stay
so it
in
might
that
be worth it to do that
funding
just so we have some flexibility if we need it.
and funding too for FEMA.
Yeah, and you know, every resolution has to go through the committee, so the committees are gonna have a say. I'm pretty comfortable with it, I think.
Yeah, and if it becomes, unruly, definitely reach out to me, committee chairs, reach out to me if folks are pushing the envelope, and I'll work to make sure that doesn't happen, so.
Everybody good?
John, I just, an additional comment. I saw Ryan McMahon's news conference and, Lynn and I were laughing. He called you very spirited.
Yeah. He thought I drank coffee. I told him I don't drink any coffee.
Yeah, that and Mountain Dew. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
John, I just got a question.
Yep,
Committees are going to use the Zoom process in the future, but what was the final decision on the full July meeting?
I think we'll do Zoom. We'll do Zoom. We'll keep
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought there was something else here. Most of our employees are back to work. Things are going pretty smooth. We'll have Tina or Sam take a picture of the line that goes from the front door all the way down the sidewalk, almost out into the street for DMV, because our county clerk, they drop off stuff all night, and his folks get it all done, and he tells them to be here at noon, and he's handing it out for the next 2 hours. It's unbelievable. It's kind of funny, actually, the way he's thought of operating down there.
And they're all socially distant, and they all have their masks on, and they stand there in the sun and wait for it.
Yeah, the sheriffs are out there walking and talking amongst everybody. It's actually kind of better for public relations this way than it is the other way, so. Yeah, so you got a question? Oh, for sure, yeah. So, I guess that's all we've pretty much got, so. Okay?
Yep.
Is there any word at all in terms of, any kind of movement on the state budget? Is that we're just sitting and waiting for Washington?
That's what I was gonna say. Everybody should have got an email. You got 80% of your CHIPS funding, with the caveat you may be made whole later on. So we've heard nothing from the feds on making the state whole, and making the counties and towns and villages whole at all. That needs to be stalled in Washington.
The state has been freezing some of our payments, especially in the, with workforce development and social services. They're not, putting payments out to us, so they're just kind of waiting to see what happens with the federal legislation, but we don't see any movement on that right now, and we're hoping that we have some movement on that in July, because once we know where we're at on the federal side, we can start releasing funds back to agencies like we did with the nonprofit resolution. Remember, that resolution just holds payments, it does not cut any nonprofit. So hopefully we get some good news here and get some money flowing to the county so we can continue our operations.
Mark, did they give you any indicator when we should expect our CHIPS letters? Because we still haven't gotten our letter.
I thought the letter was put on the DOT website, I thought.
Is that how they're doing it now?
Yeah, so go on the DOT website, Jim.
Okay.
I was made aware last week, inadvertently, I think, in the control room, that 20% will be the floor of what everybody's cut. That's the floor. So,
That's better news than you'd think.
50%, yeah, 20% the floor. Don't forget
Yeah.
the floor.
Right.
So, not the ceiling. I wish it was the ceiling. Okay, nobody else has anything?
Chair, yeah, I do,
Yes.
Chairman.
All right.
Yes, John, I'd like to, I know you said a couple months on the committee meetings, but if we could reassess that again next month, I think it'd be helpful. As you just said, the employees are back, the department heads are there. I think it'd be beneficial, at least in my mind. I think that I get quite a bit out of the discussions that develop inside in a committee meeting, and the questions we can ask a department head. And if they're back in the building, you know, I mean, it's a personal choice, but if we could have enough to have a quorum, I think it'd be a much better meeting overall.
I agree with you, Pete.
I agree, but if, you know, certainly there's a tremendous value of having the conversation with staff and other members. But I think as long as, I think we have to keep on Zooming the meeting, even if, you know, half of the committee is back in the office, because I think there are members of the board that should be able to participate in the committee and who just may choose, might be a year. They're not going to come back until they get vaccinated, you know? So, and I think we have to be respectful of everyone's different positions, their health needs, their age, their family situation. You know, like we can't judge anyone. Everybody has to make their own choice. And I think we have to, I really want to make sure we're respectful of that.
Yeah, I never mentioned, I didn't say anything about judging or anybody not coming.
No.
It was a decision to stop all committee meetings. My point is that I think that should be something that we reassess. That, you know, we don't put a blanket for 3 months with no committee meetings and we don't look at it again until September. I think that it'd be beneficial to all to look at this, and if we can, and I agree with continuing the Zoom, but I think that we would have a much more in-depth committee meeting that would be a much, you know, like I say, a great benefit to all of us. So
I'm gonna leave, I pick each one of you as the chairs, because you're an extension of the chairman. So I'm gonna leave it up to each one of you. If you want to poll your members and you want to come to Wadsville and social distance and wear your face coverings, you can have that as your committee meeting. If half your people don't want to come in, but they want to Zoom in still, that's fine. I'm going to leave it up to you. But the committees are back in charge of everything. They're going to run things through committees. So you guys do what you need to do to have your committee meetings. So,
all
okay.
right, thank you, John.
Yep.
Yeah, we get social distance in the chambers pretty easily.
Okay.
So.
Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice Chair.
Before we go, I just wanted to give kudos to Eric's department and Dan's department for their yeoman's work they've done over the last 3 months, and they're going to continue to do that work as well. But they've just done a remarkable job, and I just want to be on the record saying that.
Yeah,
yesterday was 100 days for this thing. 100 days yesterday.
Yeah, echo that for the MAC and the leadership that developed the MAC and the JIC and the work that's come out of the Samantha's office overall. I mean, I think that we should be proud of the way the counties continue to do business and communicate with the board and the public overall. I very much appreciate it here.
Hey, does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I would like to give special kudos to whoever designed our website to give such good up-to-date regional information. There's no other county that's providing that detailed information. My constituents have found that extremely helpful.
Sam and Eric and Scott and Erica.
Yeah, very, very well done. And lastly, I mean, I don't know how often we can maybe get some updates on how, this is just something that scares me, is how our sales tax is coming back to us as things start opening, because I'm really worried about, I mean, we got out of this. Now the hard work begins, because income has not been there for the last few months.
Cindy, are you ready? Would you like to give us an update, Cindy, quick? You prepared for that?
Yeah, I really don't have anything more than the last communication that Mark probably sent to you all. Through June 5th, we were down over $1 million now. So we're down 1.1 million compared to last year at this time. So our last distribution itself was down 37% again. So, you know, we were down 40% in May, now down 37% for the first distribution in June. The next update will come by the end of next week. We'll have our second June distribution.
You have a breakdown, Cindy, on that regular sales tax versus the internet sales tax? Do we have a breakdown of that at all?
I can only get that quarterly from New York State. And so the most recent quarter that I have Yeah, I'll have to look, Chairman, we do have some information that came in from NISAC that gave a little bit of detail, but it's hard to get detail from New York State. Still, I still struggle with that, and sometimes it's only available quarterly.
And internet's quarterly, right? You're gonna get that information quarterly?
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect that to have gone down personally, but
No, I think it's gone up. That's why I'm asking.
Gone way up.
okay, yeah,
Gone way up.
okay.
The question is, are we gonna get that money? That's my question. I know it's.
Good question.
Good question. I don't think, there's not, I don't know. I reserving comment on everything in Albany, so. All right.
All right.
All right.
Hey, motion to adjourn.
So moved, John.
Mr. Rowley, okay, by Mr. Roberts, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.